Well, my name is Doug Christensen. I'm a board certified hearing instrument specialist. I have been practicing for just over 10 years. Um, I think back to recent years. I had a patient that she came in to me, and she had been to several ENTs and other hearing instrument specialists, and all of them had told her that there was nothing that could be done. She just had assumed that she would just have to live with the difficulty that she had. She struggled to hear her grandchildren, couldn't participate. She was beginning to feel very isolated. I performed a hearing test, and she in fact did have a hearing loss that was aidable. It was not a simple loss to aid, but we fitted her with hearing aids. At her first follow-up a week after being fitted, she came back and she was just in tears, that she had gone so many years believing that there was nothing that could be done about her hearing loss, and was just so grateful that I was willing to try something. And she's had a lot of success. She can hear and communicate with her grandchildren. She's no longer isolated. She participates in family parties and functions, which prior to that she had stopped doing. And so that's kind of in a nutshell why I do this, is really to help people improve their quality of life.
Great, thank you so much. And so along with that, how does an individual know if they actually have a hearing problem, and what should they do about it?
Well, that's a good question, because in most cases, hearing loss comes on so very gradually that the person it's occurring to doesn't really notice ever a change. It just, their brain adapts and acclimates, and they begin to feel like it's the way people are communicating with them. And so that's what I'd say. If you start noticing that more and more people in your life begin to mumble or are not speaking clearly, that's the first sign, is if you're not hearing clearly what people say. You might still hear, but not hear clearly what people say. Struggling with understanding. When you struggle to hear speech in a noisy environment where the speech begins to get lost into the noise, that's also could be a sign. Also, use family members as a barometer. Family members notice hearing loss before the person that it's occurring to. They'll begin to complain. They'll begin to complain about the volume of the TV. They'll begin to tell you that you need to go get your hearing checked. Family members will typically let you know when difficulty's happening. So be very sensitive. If family members are complaining that they feel you can't hear, odds are you have some difficulty. But those are just some things that I would look for. If people are, you feel as though people are mumbling or not speaking clearly, I can literally count on one finger how many people I associate that mumble. And everyone that associates with this person says he mumbles. So if you feel like more than a few people mumble in your life, odds are it's not them, it's you. You're struggling in noise and family members complaining about volume of the TV or how often they're having to repeat themselves. Those are going to be the red lights that say go in and get tested.
Now, what motivates you to do what you do?
So when I was in school, I was in the pre-med program at Weber State, and I wanted to help people in some way. I was at dinner one evening, and there was a family sitting kind of kitty corner, and it was a mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and they were celebrating one of the grandchildren's birthdays. And a gentleman was, the grandpa was, it was as if he was alone. Everybody was communicating and talking and having a good time, and he just sat there and watched. He didn't participate, didn't talk, nobody talked to him, until finally one of the grandchildren asked him a question. He did not respond, and his wife looked at him and yelled, so everyone in the restaurant could hear the question. And I realized, well, that's why he wasn't participating. It wasn't ornery, he just may as well have been there alone because he couldn't hear what was going on. And I realized that would be a significant thing to help people. Hearing isn't going to extend anybody's life for the most part, unless you're able to hear a bus and get out of the way, but it will improve the quality of life. And that's why initially I was drawn to the medical field, is to improve quality of life. And hearing, more than anything, really, if you treat a hearing loss, it truly will improve the quality of life. And so that's what motivates me to do what I do. Because in most cases they don't recognize what they're starting to miss. I mean, you don't know what you're missing if you're missing it. And they don't recognize that their life, their quality of life has gone down. And so when we improve it, it's almost immediate that they see that and that their world opens up again. And it's almost like it takes them back in years to, hey, I now remember what it was like to hear. And so in most cases, patients are very, very, very happy when they leave. And that's the nice thing about hearing care, is that because it is such a life improvement, that that you see that people are very, very grateful. They're happy. It's not, once it's taken care of, it's, well, I have to they're really happy about what's happened. So.